Welcome to Financial Insider Weekly. I'm your host, Michael Gray, CPA. My guest today is David Howard, and David is an attorney with Hogue Fenton, Jones & Appel in San Jose. He's also an inactive CPA who was formerly a multinational tax partner with Deloitte LLP, which is an international CPA firm, where he worked for over 20 years. At Deloitte, he developed tax strategies for multinational corporations, Silicon Valley startups, family corporations, corporate executives, and wealthy individuals. His former clients encouraged him to return to practice, and so that's why he came back to work in the law. Now, David has taught extensively, including for the California CPA Society, New York University Tax Institute, San Jose State Masters in Taxation Program, and much more. This is a really sharp guy, folks. Now, David has recently been helping Hogue Fenton clients get in compliance with the information reporting requirements for offshore bank accounts and trusts, which are nicknamed FBAR. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, before I get started, I'm going to caution the people who are watching. This is a complex area of the law that we're talking about. We are just trying to alert you about some things here. I think this is an interesting area. And, but this is to be a continuing conversation with your attorney and possibly your CPA. But you're going to need to get an attorney involved, I think. All right. So David, welcome to my show. Thank you for being here with me today.
Well, thanks, Mike. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah. By the way, David is one of my favorite people.
Oh, well. Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
Let's see if I can hold up.
We always have a good time. All right. Now, how did this situation develop for the IRS to develop an interest in these foreign accounts?
Well, there's a perception, whether it's true or not, I don't know, but it's a perception that there's all this money hidden overseas by U.S. taxpayers that's not being subjected to U.S. tax. Now, this has become much more of a reality when a couple of years ago it was disclosed, some whistleblower disclosed that UBS, the Union Bank of Switzerland, was actually helping set up plans that under U.S. tax laws would appear to be fraudulent, where they would set up phony accounts in offshore locations and somehow not have to report this to the United States. In fact, the subpoena issued by the United States to the Union Bank of Switzerland said they felt that there was like $13 billion of U.S. funds, or U.S. taxpayer funds held offshore, and they were not reporting the income when it was earned. Also, with Homeland Security concerns, there's been a lot of focus on transferring money around to fund the terrorists. And so we want to see if money is being sent in the United States to pay for people learn how to fly airplanes but not land them, or that kind of thing, whatever, from whatever source. Yeah. And what they've done is they've thrown out a broad net, and they've put just horrible penalties for failure to disclose. And probably we'll walk through some of these forms if you'd like.
Yeah, we'll get there in just a little bit. But anyway, I mean, for people who have been around for a while, I mean, it was almost a joke. I have money in a Swiss bank account, nice and safe where nobody can get to it, and so forth. Right. And so, to some degree, then, I mean, it wasn't a secret, but finally, I guess the U.S. government decided to do something about it.
Well, yes, and also I think some people were very misled by their Swiss bankers of thinking that they could have these accounts and not report them, and when they're traveling out of the country, pull the money out of it, or this, that, or the other. And in fact, I've seen some of the paperwork that looked very official that says if you'll initial here, we will not invest in U.S. securities, and therefore we, under U.S. tax regulations, we will not be required to report your income. But the U.S. tax regulations said if you'll sign here and provide your Social Security number, you don't have to have withholding, and they misinterpreted it. But the poor customer thought he was safe and sound, and and most of the banks today will not accept American citizens as customers, but UBS still does. They've got a program. but you can be assured that they're reporting it all to the United States now.
Okay. So now it's,
Yeah.
it's not as confidential as it once was.
No, not at all. And
This can ruin some of the spy movies.
it will make it, yeah, like the Bourne or whatever that thing where he goes in, he
Bourne
has
Identity, whatever.
where he comes in with the number tattooed on his leg, and yeah, all that stuff is kind of tough right now. And frankly, a lot of people will get away with it if their account balances are under $1 million and a few other things like that. But I wouldn't recommend anybody test this too severely. I'd recommend you comply, because the penalties are so awful for non-disclosure. Forget about not reporting the taxable income, if any.
Okay. Well, we'll get into the penalties in just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What needs to be disclosed? How do you do it?
Well, today I came prepared to talk about 4 different disclosure forms.
Okay.
And we could go down through those, starting with what's commonly referred to as the F-bar, and which is foreign bank account disclosures. And now they want to know, and this is really a big change, they really want to know a lot of information. If you have a bank account with a balance, or cumulative, if you have accounts that add up to $10,000 or more at their high water mark,
Yeah.
during the prior year, they want the listing of all the accounts that you have, where the bank is, where the country is, and it's where the bank is located. So it's not, if you, for instance, are using Bank of America's office in Hong Kong, that's a foreign bank account. If you're using Bank of Hong Kong's account in San Francisco, that's a U.S. account. So it's where the account is located, and you have to disclose the balance of this. If it's a joint account, you have to disclose who the other account holders are, which can be problematic. And if you do not disclose, the penalty is $10,000, but the penalty can be $50,000. And if they think it's willful, and if they think you're a money launderer or terrorist or anybody else like that, they can put you in jail for up to 5 years and charge you $500,000.
Oh my
and
God.
so my poor little clients, they come in, they're totally innocent. They just got caught in a trap. And of course, the alternatives are not really nice. You have to fall on your sword. You have to beg for mercy. The first response from the IRS, they take this very seriously, and they will impose the fine. And you've got to beg for mercy to have them waive it, saying that you just didn't know, didn't realize. There's a 6-year statute of limitations, so they can go back for the last 6 years. And if you hadn't been filing for 6 years, it can be $10,000 a year, up to $50,000 a year, depending on how bad it is. That
Well,
they think
if you didn't file a form, isn't it no statute?
There's no extension. There's no extension. There is, well, they generally they will let the stuff more than 6 years
Okay.
go. Technically, the statute doesn't start until the day
You
file the return. Then you have
Yeah.
a 3-year statute. But they will let these things, unless they suspect fraud, and then of
Yeah.
course they will go back and open it all up for you. But
Oh,
generally
nice.
speaking, if there's not fraud and it's just negligence, it'd be 6 years. But once you file the form, even if you file the form, if it's incomplete, it doesn't count as a valid filing. There's no extension, but you can do an amended F-bar. So if you know that you have a mistake on it, you can do an amended one. But I'll tell you, I've had some very nervous people come in and talk to me, and I look at all over and look at everything that they did and how they got to where they are, and I say, well, I don't think there's jail time, and they are so relieved. But it can cost them a lot of money. That's a
Yeah.
big problem.
What are